We have Oklahoma, which is incredibly only a 1 point underdog in the Red River Shootout at the Cotton Bowl. I guess it's just called Red River now. Went from Red River Shootout to Red River Rivalry, which is the hardest thing to say if you're hosting a podcast, and then to now just Red River, because that is the river that splits Oklahoma and Texas. If I remember correctly, total is 43 in this one. I'm not sure I've seen a number this low in a
Yeah,
long, long time. And I
yeah.
want to say there were a lot bigger prices on Texas earlier this season. The look ahead numbers, certainly. And even I think on Sunday of this week, it was pretty significantly different. But, things happen. And I guess let's get into it because a lot of the complaints I thought or I saw around and a lot from the group text I'm in. So Texas opened at FanDuel at 3.5 point favorites. Now they're down to 1 point favorite. That's not a great sign. But a lot of complaints about Arch filtered into, well, Arch isn't responsible for stopping the run. So that seems to me like a lot of what's going to happen in this game this weekend, Lonte. So give me your thoughts on Texas -1 on a neutral site to Oklahoma. Total is 43. This rivalry recently has gone in Texas's favor, which is weird for me to say.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll hit on two things that you were talking about. So the line movement, I think Texas was two touchdowns in the preseason, like prior to anything going on. So it seems a lot has shifted, obviously, and we saw it go out play out on the field on both sides. When you look at Texas, like some of your group chat members, like I think they're correct. Like it's not all on Arch. A lot of it is though because he's the quarterback, and that's just what you sign up for when you play quarterback. I mean, especially at Texas, but anywhere in the country, especially Texas, that's just what you sign up for. I mean, he's not performing well, but if you can take a little scope out of the Arch criticism, like the offensive line has been terrible. They can't run the ball. You got these 5-star recruits at wide receiver, but your lowest rated recruit is your best receiver in Parker Lewiston. Like that can't happen. So you got to have these guys around Arch to be able to perform. Now, is he supposed to be able to uplift those guys? Yeah, absolutely. Especially with this defense. But I mean, I think a lot has to do with just maybe Sark not feeling comfortable with the way the offense is being ran because he can't run the ball. So you're dropping back and Arch is throwing into, basically quarters coverage versus being more balanced where he can be more successful, use his legs also. And I think that's a part of it. But in this specific matchup, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. And we'll talk about that line movement. The reason why it's moving down because it's reports coming out that Mateer might play. Like, so the market is, I mean, it's telling you that he's probably going to play because 3.5 is probably the right number.
Yep.
Pick is probably the right number with Mateer. With the healthy Mateer, I would say it'd probably be like OU minus like 1.5, maybe 2 if
Ooh,
he's fully
okay. So you're
healthy.
saying so you're saying OU's a favorite if Mateer is locked and
Yes.
loaded and starting.
Like
You're
if he never got hurt, like, this is what I'm saying. If he never got hurt, I'll say that. Like if we was coming into this game, OU had Temple last week, so I mean not Temple, they had Kent State last week, so I mean it's not a ton that you could take away from it. And then
I mean,
Texas play
that's a huge advantage than going to
right,
Gainesville and playing an SEC football game.
right,
That,
right,
like, to me,
right.
I don't know how, like, it always in Big 12 times, it was always a bye
Uh,
week before
yep,
the Red
yep,
River Shootout for
yep,
both teams.
yep, yep.
Then to me, in the SEC, I mean, you could argue Texas has gotten some gifts to their schedule, and I would
Oh,
certainly
absolutely. Yeah.
agree. But like this part of playing an SEC game while Oklahoma didn't have one before a rivalry game, that is really to me not okay. It wasn't looked like it'd be a horrible thing based on big numbers that were projected earlier in the season, but
Yep.
to me, that is tough. And unfortunately, yes, there might not be a lot to take out of that game last weekend, but there's a lot to take out of a Florida beatdown, the travel to get there as well, plus
Yeah.
having to go up
Yeah.
against an SEC team and try to come back from the dead late in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're going against one of the best defenses in in the country. I mean, so that doesn't help either. And your offense is already like kind of broken, and you can't get on track. So like it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be really tough with Mateer or not. It's still going to be tough. Now, if Mateer plays, it's kind of like how healthy is he? I mean, he just had the surgery, I think, like 2 weeks ago. So I mean, probably get shot up with some stuff and be ready to go. But like
I might need some in like the 20th row. Whatever John Pierce get in, just shoot it wherever you need.
I mean, seriously, that's remarkable by those surgeons and by him for gutting it out if he can go. But I mean, the market is telling you like he's probably going to go because this sat, I think on open it was 3 and it sat like 3.5 until today. And that's when that news started trickling in. So somebody knows something. I won't be betting on the side, but I do love the under. I mean, I love both defenses. Texas they gave up 29 points, but I thought some of that was kind of their offense just putting the defense in bad situations. I don't think it was fully on the defense. They got to get some kind of balance where they're not on the field so much. You can't just go three and out, expect the defense as good as it is to just bail you out of every situation. So I trust both of these defenses. We talked about me and you, Griffin, talked about what Brent Venables does to freshman quarterbacks and first time quarterbacks facing him. And this is Arch's first time facing him. And he's not been good against regular defensive schematics. So what are you going to do against the defensive schematics of one of the better defensive play callers in the country? I think they slow it down. OU can't run the football. So I think we see a lot of 3 yards in a cloud of dust on both sides. Texas can't run the ball. Field position, I mean, Hawkins can't really throw it either. So I'm looking at an under 43 here, Griffin. That's what I like the most. Sidewise, I can't. I'm honestly, I mean, I know listeners don't want to hear this, but I'll probably just sit this one out. It's just too much uncertainty right now because I don't want to take Oklahoma and then Mateer doesn't play, and I don't want to take Texas if he does. If he does, it's just so much uncertainty. But regardless of who's playing quarterback on either side, I like the under.
Yeah, I think this is one of those you got to wait till 2:15 Central
Yeah,
Time
yeah.
on Saturday, which I'll be in the house, probably already getting sunburned. But at the point where, unfortunately, in just from going to this game, I want to say 16 of the last 20. I think I've been there. It's usually Oklahoma's a big favorite until the NIL essentially, and OU to me, their defense has been the biggest problem, pass rush especially. And I don't necessarily think that's changing much, unfortunately, for UT and supporters like myself. I was thinking to myself how if I was a fan of literally any other team, how much money I would have made betting against Texas for the past 20 years. But unfortunately, I am locked in, and I'm okay with betting against the basketball team, as weird as that sounds. And I think I like basketball better in general, college basketball versus college football. But like. I for some reason I'm a fan of this Texas team, and it's been really brutal, and it really hasn't gotten much better. When I was so afraid of this game coming into the year, and then everyone's like, "No, no, no, you're crazy. Florida's 1-3. They're about to fire their coach and hire an Indiana's," and here we are with
I mean, they
another
got
one.
off the mat. Like, I mean, people weren't expecting Florida to come out with that kind of performance, and it's not saying that they played a spectacular game. I mean, if you look at it, just like the Ohio State game, as poorly as Texas played, they had a chance to go down and tie the game, and as poorly as they played in this game, they had a chance to score and get the 2 point conversion to go to overtime. I mean, they just couldn't execute, and I think that has to do with those slow starts that they get off to. You can't go three and out on your first two drives. I mean, that's just like I said, that's getting their defense off to a bad vibe because they're so accustomed to being like, oh well, I mean, we got to go out here and save the day again, and they can't just continuously do it against good teams. Now, this is why I like the under. I mean, Oklahoma's offense without Mateer is still, one of the. It's not a good offense, and we actually saw Hawkins face Texas last year, so there's tape out there on him. And I mean, they only scored 3 points. They got embarrassed last year. I think it was 40 or 37-3 or 47-3 or something like that.
Yeah,
So
and I think that was a year after a shutout too. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, the last game that I can remember, they had OU had a competent quarterback available to play. So we'll see if Mateer ends that streak. I mean, in the years where Texas was an underdog for a lot of these games, they would start really well. I think based on Sark's 20 plays that he draws up
oh, he's
before,
excellent at
and then things go crazy.
that.
Problem is this year it has kind of flipped where he's not been so good at the beginning. I don't know. I mean, I was like, I don't even know how much I care about going to this game, even though I do live in the town, so I was going to go. But now, as in some sick way, I'm like more interested in going, but I'm also terrified because there's not much worse than trying to get out of the State Fair of Texas, or excuse me, out of the Cotton Bowl into the State Fair of Texas, where it's literally Christmas Day for every Oklahoma fan, especially when they won. Because they scatter, it's like third quarters, things get ugly. But if they're there to the end, it is brutal, and I'm getting out of that godforsaken place as quickly as possible.